Hi, how's it going? My name is Hannah Harris. I am an Irish fiddler and singer. If we have not met before, this is our first time meeting. I usually go live on Facebook and on Instagram on a weekly basis, and I've just started adding on YouTube. So this is my second time going live here on YouTube and really enjoying taking a different angle with this platform because I think that a lot of you on here have found my channel or following me because of the series that I did with a Violin Tutor Pro a few years ago, 5 years ago at this point, actually. And so I did a few tutorial videos, and those seem to do pretty well. So I have decided that YouTube is kind of more my tutorial platform as opposed to like all the other type of content I could share. So I wanted to make these lives reflect that, and I will either be teaching a tune or I'll play a tune at a easy to follow speed and then kind of take you through some of my strategy behind it. So that's actually what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take the tune Hardyman's Fancy, and I'm going to play through it at a typical speed, and then I'll play through it at a speed that if you don't know the tune, you can just kind of follow along with it. And the nice thing about these live videos is if you're watching the replay, you can just press pause and you can go back if you missed a note and you can play through the tune again. So I'll do that a couple times, and then I will talk you through some of the variations I do with this tune because I do a lot of variations with Hardyman's Fancy. It's one of the tunes that just I think I've heard multiple versions of it, so I've started to adapt different parts of the tune into my own playing. So I will start off with the tune just to get it in your head, and then we'll do about a learner pace, and then I'll get into those variations. So here we go. I typically like to go into a tune like The Old Woman Tossed Up in a Blanket after that, or a tune in A. I know that's a very interesting name for a tune. I'm not quite sure where that comes from, but that's okay. So to just go ahead and break down the tune a little bit, I'm going to play through it maybe about half that tempo. And if you want to play along, have your fiddle out, then this is the chance for you to do a little bit of ear training practice. So I'm going to keep it at just a nice slow pace for play along purposes, and then we'll dig into all the different variations. Here we go. And I think the reason I'm not teaching this tune by ear, like measure by measure, is because I do so many different variations. So it's hard to pick exactly one to teach. So that's why I'll be playing it through slowly so you can follow along with what I'm doing. And then I'll kind of break that down even further after this. Here we go. nice chord there on an open D and first finger B. It's kind of it is more of a minor chord that way. It's BDF, but you could kind of lend itself to the more major to D major, which is the relative relationship there between B minor and D major. So anyway, just to break down what it is I'm doing, I pretty much am using left hand ornamentation the entire time. I'm not doing a whole lot with my right hand as far as bow triplets go. So and there's like no extra technique that's going into that, if that makes sense. So it's mostly on the left hand rolls and lots of cuts, maybe a little bit of triplets or adding in some filler notes in between, like a little run. So something like that. So anyway, there are several different ways that I've heard this tune played, and I like to alternate between both versions in my head. So for the first part, when we have, that's the way that I learned it. But I've also heard, I believe it was Cahill Hayden played it going down to the low B. Either that or he played the first version, but one of the two. So that's one way. So that's your little variation for the first line. So you could either choose to just hang on that E, or you could go down to the low B. So to break that down, so D, E, D, B, D, F sharp. So that's your little pattern there. And this first note, so your B, you could do several different things here. You could just hold a B note, and that's great if you're just starting out. If you want to add a triplet pattern, again, if you're just starting out, you could just separate the notes there. I don't do that one quite as much, but that is an option for you as well. And then there's also, you could do two notes instead. So you can break that note down. It's a dotted eighth there. So you're playing a total of, if you're in a 6/8 measure, you've got 4 of those 6 beats are going to be a B. So you can break that out however you want. You could play 4 Bs, or you could play 3, or 2. So you can break that up with just the individual note. You could also play a roll there. And I actually like to do a little extra. It's kind of like a 7-note roll. Just to break that down, it's your usual 5-note roll: 1, 3, 1, open 1, B, D, B, A, B. And then we're going to add DB. Do that a couple times. And it really just kind of lends itself to the tune. Because you're not changing bow strokes until you get to that open A. So you're actually keeping one bow stroke for the entire B 7-note roll. And I liked that because it keeps you moving in one direction, and it's very, it lends itself well to Irish flow, the lilting sound, which is something I'm very big on when it comes to bowing. So that is definitely a great option for you. So that's more of an advanced technique, but if that's where you're at, then I highly suggest putting that in as a variation. You don't have to play it that way all the time because, you're hitting this note a lot. And you just don't want to make it sound too boring, I guess. And then you could also do just a simple cut. So you're cutting the note in half. So those are pretty much your options there. You can do so that's mostly left-hand variation with the roll and the cut. So you could do bow variations with the number of bow strokes that you're using. I suppose you could count that as a bow ornamentation there. And so that's your variation for just the first part. And you can do the same thing here on the second part. So if I go down to the low B for one part of the A part there, I usually will I'll hang on the E there for the second time through the phrasing. So I won't actually use the same. Sometimes I do by accident, but usually I'll be trying to vary it up. And again, at the end, I'm adding a little cut because I don't want to change my bow direction there. I just want to keep that. Yeah, so I want to keep that as a nice strong down bow to end. So I will add a cut in there just to ensure that that happens. And it also still articulates the note that I'm trying, or the note value that I'm trying to get out there. So those are more of what I do for the A part. And again, I like to switch it up as much as possible. And another variation you could do on that B, instead of doing three notes on B, you could do, or you could do kind of whatever floats your boat there. If you similar to rolls, because in a 5-note roll you could use the finger pattern 1 3 1 open 1. Or you could use 1 2 1 open 1. I like to use 3. It's just a little bit more intuitive for me to do it that way, but it's the same thing with your variation. If you want to add in a little noted triplet, there's a tiny little difference there in the sound. So it's kind of up to personal preference for you. I would probably tend towards the D myself as opposed to the C sharp, but you can add in anything just to keep your mind like looking for new ways to play the tune. So there are so many other different ways that you could play that A part there, but these are just a few things that I notice that I do consistently most times that I'm playing this tune. So the B part now. I added in a little extra measure there, which was not an intended variation, so don't do that one. But anyway, so to start off, I can remember how the B part starts. Oh my goodness. There we go. So there are two different ways that you could make this first phrase go. That's the way I learned. But But you could also go, instead of going C sharp D back up the scale, you could go which is a really fun variation that I've heard. Again, it was Cathal Hayden did that version. So instead of going, that's all the same. So you're going A D as opposed to C sharp D. You could go E D. So going down the scale instead. And that's a fun variation to throw in there. I would do that once every couple of times through the tune. So not even on a repeat, just like maybe once the first time through the B part, and then I'd play it again the second time through the B part on the repeat after playing through the tune one more time. So that would go, or, and then you jump right back up to that octave D there. And this A here is another good place to play around with the notes. You do a roll there. You're hitting that A a lot of times in this B part, so have fun with it. Like, if I were to throw in a bowed triplet, I would probably throw it in here. And if I ornament that first A, I probably won't do much with the second. I would just hold that. And if I just play, I would do something to the second note. So I would pick which note you want to kind of add a little bit of ornamentation onto as you go throughout the B part there. So that's kind of your note. So the note in the A part is a B, and then the note in the B part is an A, if that helps you remember it. That's the one that you can kind of play around with all these different note values and ornaments that you can fit in there. You could add that in. That's kind of a little extra one. You have to get it right timing wise. You'll hear I kind of botched the first one. So that's just a fun one that you can add in. It's just like it's a open E string roll. So E1, E, F sharp, G sharp. You could do G sharp or G natural. I actually prefer G natural because it's in the key. So. And you could end the, so I know when we went through it the first time, I had you end with an open D. You could also just end with an F sharp. So that's first finger on A, second finger on D. So different ways that you could end that tune with. So those are just some very basic things that I do with Hardyman's Fancy as far as variations go. I'm going to play it at kind of a middle speed now so that we can all play together. If you want to get your fiddles out and play along, then this is a good time to do so. And then I will wrap it up for today. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. whichever note you want to end on there. All right. And on that note, I am done for today. So I will definitely be going live like this a few more times. I'm liking to experiment with all the different ways of teaching tunes and whatnot. So if you like the last tutorial I did on Morning Dew, which was literally breaking it down note by note for you, and then we kind of did a little bit of analyzing afterwards, or if you'd rather just have the different speeds available for you. So we've got fast, slow, and medium on this one. So let me know what you prefer, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next live video. So thanks for watching.